Hello everyone, and welcome to today's session on team collaboration. Whether you're leading a department, managing a project, or contributing as a team member, your ability to collaborate effectively can make a huge difference in outcomes. So let's dive into what team collaboration truly means, how it works, and why it's so valuable. Let's begin with a closer look at why team collaboration is such an essential element of modern business. Firstly, a collaborative strategy isn't just about working together. It actively boosts employee efficiency, creativity, and overall success. When people come together with shared goals and mutual trust, the result is often greater innovation and productivity. Secondly, successful teamwork yields significant organizational benefits. This isn't just about individual or department-level wins. It can influence the entire business, enhancing agility, problem-solving, and strategic execution across the board. Thirdly, cooperative teams tend to be strong problem solvers. They are usually highly motivated, efficient, and inventive. These characteristics help businesses adapt to change and overcome challenges more easily. And finally, some of the most tangible benefits of team collaboration include more engaged and dedicated personnel, improved performance, and enhanced financial results. A well-functioning team now becomes a company's engine for growth and resilience. So, what exactly is team collaboration? Well, team collaboration occurs when individuals with complementary abilities work on projects or activities in a linked and collaborative way in their approach and results. Furthermore, the distinction between teamwork and collaboration lies in the shared responsibility and cooperative effort that each person contributes. Let's clarify an important distinction: collaboration versus cooperation. In all circumstances, individuals work together to achieve a common goal. In cooperation, people may work side by side but independently. By contrast, in collaboration, they work together to examine challenges and find solutions. Let's take a deeper look at how team collaboration actually works in practice. The process of team cooperation involves several key steps. First, creating clear and shared objectives so that everyone understands the purpose and direction. Next, selecting who is responsible for what. Clear role allocation helps to avoid confusion and supports accountability. Then, developing meaningful connections within the team. And finally, maintaining open, non-judgmental communication to allow people to speak freely, listen actively, and resolve misunderstandings quickly. In addition, it's crucial to note that in a collaborative team, culture matters as much as structure. With greater openness, flexibility, less ego, and a more cooperative mentality. Just a few of the essential characteristics of a truly collaborative team.
Now, let's discuss coordination, a key part of collaboration. In general, this concept is a critical component of collaborative efforts. In particular, coordination increases efficiency while instructing participants on how and when they must behave. This ensures that everyone is moving in the same direction at the right time and in the right sequence. However, because the aims of this notion are the same as those of cooperation and teamwork, coordination is often confused with them. To better understand coordination, let's use a simple analogy: a rope-pulling task. In our rope-pulling analogy, coordination is represented by someone who organizes several groups and activities individually, with each group completing its specific components of the task. Each participant contributes to this effort. One group may bring and set up the rope, one ensures the ground is stable enough to stand on, and one is responsible for pulling the rope. Now here's where coordination comes in. The coordinating person isn't necessarily doing the physical tasks, but they are overseeing the entire process. They make sure each group knows their part and completes it in the correct order. Only after all the individual groups have finished their assignments can the actual rope pulling begin. In this way, coordination ensures that the efforts of many people come together at the right time to successfully complete the task. Let's now take a moment to understand cooperation and how it differs from other collaborative processes like teamwork and coordination. Cooperation is, without a doubt, an important component of teamwork and coordination efforts. Typically, it often comprises two or more individuals sharing ideas or engaging in activities together. However, cooperation is usually more informal and less structured. You can share the information you gather due to your cooperation. While it is occasionally needed, it is a mostly unplanned procedure. In addition, Collaboration is an action that involves the least level of shared purpose and reliance on team members compared to other activities such as teamwork, collaboration, and coordination. So, while cooperation is important and valuable, it's less integrated than teamwork, coordination, or true collaboration. Now let's shift our focus to one of the most essential elements of team collaboration: communication. The ability to communicate effectively is an important aspect of working together. It goes beyond simply exchanging information. It's about creating a respectful and open workplace culture. Communication in a collaborative environment requires more than just delivering messages. It is a polite attitude to the workplace that requires all members to communicate with one another regularly. Importantly, communication entails communicating most comfortably for you and your team, both in terms of personality and interpersonal relationships. That means finding the most comfortable and effective way for your team to stay connected, whether through face-to-face conversations, written updates, or digital communication tools. A truly successful team isn't built by chance. It's built intentionally with the right foundations in place. To build a successful team, it is critical to create mutual respect, transparency, and support. As a manager or team leader, your role is not just to assign tasks, but to unite your team. That means creating opportunities for open discussion, encouraging information sharing sessions, thereby ensuring everyone has access to the information they need to contribute effectively. Furthermore, managers help to build cultural skills and develop effective problem-solving skills to foster a stronger sense of unity within the group. By actively supporting your team in this way, you create a workplace culture where collaboration thrives, people feel valued, and performance naturally improves. Let's now explore in more detail the two main categories of communication differences that can arise in culturally diverse teams: verbal and linguistic, and nonverbal communication. First, let's look at verbal and linguistic differences. Communication can become difficult when English is not the primary language for both parties. Even basic messages may be misinterpreted due to vocabulary limitations or confusion over meaning. Furthermore, differences in accentuation and word choice also play a role. What sounds clear and natural to one speaker might seem unfamiliar or even confusing to another. Additionally, we must consider the broader scope of languages and dialects, expressions, word use, pronunciation, and spelling. For example, American and British English often differ in both vocabulary and grammatical conventions. Now, moving on to nonverbal differences. When it comes to tone of voice and emotional expression, cultural manifestations of emotions are not always the same. Besides, gestures vary across cultures and must be understood. A hand signal that's positive in one country might be offensive in another. And then there are different ideas on proximity, the preferred physical distance during conversation. In some cultures, standing close is a sign of friendliness, whereas in others, it may be perceived as intrusive or disrespectful. Understanding these verbal and nonverbal differences is essential for effective collaboration. It allows teams to avoid misunderstandings and build stronger, more respectful relationships across cultures. When managing a culturally diverse team, it's not enough to simply be aware of communication differences. Leaders must actively respond to them. First and foremost, leaders should invest time in learning about various cultures, including the potential for misunderstandings that may arise due to different communication styles, customs, or expectations. Secondly, fostering a workplace culture built on justice and diversity is essential. These values help create an inclusive environment where all team members feel respected, regardless of their background. In practical terms, this involves clearly communicating relevant and suitable workplace rules and procedures. It also means putting those policies into action consistently. These steps aid in the management and resolution of conflicts and misunderstandings that arise as a consequence of cultural differences. Now that we've discussed cultural differences in communication, let's shift to another important consideration: personality types and communication strategies. While it can be helpful to recognize different personality traits and language preferences, we must always avoid grouping people into rigid categories. This practice is known as stereotyping, and it reflects a narrow, rigid, and inflexible style of understanding in the workplace that is not acceptable. When it comes to getting a basic feel of individuals and developing a few thoughts about them and their challenges, personality models and types can be useful for coaches and therapists. However, such labeling should be done with caution and flexibility. It's also important to recognize that communication patterns significantly influence the interpretation of verbal and nonverbal clues, intended meaning, emotional states, and intentions. To support better teamwork and communication in diverse teams, we need to understand some of the most widely used personality frameworks, including Myers-Briggs, Big Five, and DISC. These models give us structured ways to explore how people think, interact, and respond to others. When used appropriately, they can enhance collaboration and reduce misunderstandings. Let's begin by looking more closely at the Myers-Briggs personality types, or MBTI, one of the most widely used and reliable personality frameworks in the world. The Myers-Briggs model identifies 16 unique personality types, which are derived from combinations of introverted, extroverted, sensory, intuit, thinks, feels, judge, and perceives. Now, let's take a closer look at the first two dimensions of the Myers-Briggs model, which help us understand how people focus their energy and how they process information. First, introverted individuals concentrate their attention on their inner world of ideas and impressions. They draw energy from spending time alone or engaging in quiet activities. It doesn't mean they dislike people. It simply means that solitude recharges them. By contrast, extroverted individuals focus their attention on the exterior world of people and things. They feel energized by social interaction and often thrive in group settings. Now let's move to the second dimension, sensory versus intuitive. Sensory types prefer to take in information through the senses. They focus on the present moment, on facts, details, and tangible experiences. On the other hand, intuitive types look beyond the present. They tend to identify and gather information from trends and the wider picture, as well as evaluate and give meaning to it. Continuing our look at the Myers-Briggs personality model, let's now explore the final two dimensions that shape how individuals make decisions and approach life: thinking versus feeling and judging versus perceiving. First, we have thinks versus feels, which relates to how people make decisions. Regarding thinking types, they make judgments based on logical reasoning and objective analysis. They value fairness, consistency, and truth, often focusing on the most efficient or practical solution to a problem. Feeling types, by contrast, make decisions that are influenced by emotions, values, and subjective judgment. They prioritize harmony, empathy, and relationships, often choosing what feels right rather than what appears strictly logical. Moving on to judge versus perceives, which describes how people approach structure and organization. Judging types prefer a well-organized attitude to life, with everything in place. These individuals often appreciate clear schedules, timelines, and expectations. In terms of perceiving types, they prefer a spontaneous and adaptable attitude to life, with various possibilities available. They may thrive in dynamic environments that require quick shifts and creative problem-solving. Together, these four dimensions combine to form a person's unique Myers-Briggs personality type. Let's now turn to another widely respected framework in personality psychology, the Big Five personality traits. This model is grounded in decades of psychological research and is often used to understand how personality influences behavior, decision-making, and interaction in team settings. According to the Big Five model, each person's personality can be described along 5 characteristic states, including neuroticism, conscientiousness, agreeableness, extroversion, and openness to experience. Understanding these dimensions will help teams appreciate different work styles and create environments that bring out the best in every personality. Now, let's move on to the DISC personality model, a practical tool often used in business environments to enhance communication, teamwork, and overall workplace efficiency. DISC is a personality diagnostic method that may improve workplace efficiency, teamwork, and communication. It enables people to communicate more effectively and modify their behavior while interacting with others by providing a general language. The DISC personality profiler defines 4 distinct personality types and categorizes people according to how they perceive themselves for others and their environment. Let's go over these 4 types. Let's now take a closer look at the 4 personality types defined in the DISC model. Each type is based on how individuals perceive themselves in relation to their environment, specifically whether they see themselves as more or less powerful, and whether they see the environment as favorable or unfavorable. First, let's talk about dominance. These individuals perceive themselves as more powerful than their environment, but they see the environment as unfavorable. As a result, they tend to be assertive, driven, and focused on overcoming challenges. Next, let's look at inducement. This type also sees themselves as more powerful than the environment, but in contrast, they view the environment as favorable. These people are usually outgoing, enthusiastic, and persuasive. They enjoy motivating others and thrive in social situations. Moving on to submission. People in this category perceive themselves as less powerful than the environment, and they also see the environment as unfavorable. Often, they avoid conflict and prefer a predictable, stable environment. And the last one is compliance. This type perceives themselves as less powerful than the environment, but they view the environment as favorable. They may value accuracy, standards, and logic in their approach to tasks. Understanding these 4 DISC types helps us appreciate how people behave and communicate differently, and more importantly, how we can adjust our own communication to work more effectively with others in a team setting. Now let's explore how personality types can influence our interpretation of communication. Each personality type impacts how you perceive verbal and nonverbal communication. It also affects the actions and behaviors of others. Personality types have a strong influence on how we interpret both verbal and nonverbal communication in the workplace. For example, receiving quiet from an introvert is usually perfectly natural. Introverts often process information internally and may need silence to reflect or recharge. However, receiving silence from an extrovert might be more unusual and even concerning. Extroverts typically express themselves openly and verbally. Therefore, when they suddenly go quiet, it could be a signal of emotional discomfort, grief, or even retreat from the team. In addition to personality and leadership characteristics, it's also important to understand interpersonal communication styles. These styles describe how people typically interact with others, especially in workplace settings. There are 4 main types, including amiable individuals, who tend to ask questions, talk at a slower pace, and place a strong emphasis on relationships. Next, we have expressive individuals, who are more likely to tell information openly. They talk at a faster pace, and like the amiable type, they focus heavily on relationships. Moving on to analytical styles, they are naturally curious, converse at a slower pace, and tend to prioritize the task. Finally, drivers, on the other hand, are direct and assertive. They tend to make demands, converse at a faster pace, and concentrate on the task. Understanding these different interpersonal styles helps us communicate more effectively in teams, especially when working under pressure or navigating complex projects. When working in multicultural environments, it's essential to understand that communication styles are often influenced by culture. For example, in many cases, American leaders and team members are classified as drivers. This means they tend to be direct, fast-paced, and highly task-focused. They prioritize efficiency and outcomes. On the other hand, Asian leaders and team members are generally more inclusive and relationship-focused. In these cultures, communication is often more indirect, and there's a stronger emphasis on group harmony, respect, and consensus. Recognizing these cultural preferences allows us to adapt our communication strategies when working with international teams. It also helps prevent misunderstandings and fosters a more collaborative and respectful working environment. When dealing with culturally diverse and multinational teams, it's important to adapt your communication style to ensure clarity and inclusivity. Specifically, you should aim to adopt a more pleasant and analytical attitude. This means being thoughtful, respectful, and patient in how you interact with others, while also being logical and clear in how you present information and make decisions. This balance helps to guarantee that the requirements of each team member are satisfied consistently, regardless of their cultural background or communication style. In conclusion, effective team collaboration relies on shared goals, open communication, and mutual respect. By understanding and adapting to different styles and needs, you can help create a more inclusive, productive team environment. Thank you for joining today's session. I hope you find these insights useful in your professional journey.